But from that time on, God began to reveal a lot more information, including the time of the end. He had to include it because he also gave the true believers the command. And it's a very, very heavy command that you read about in Ezekiel 3 and in Ezekiel 33, that when we see the day of judgment, that as we see the sword approaching, we must tell the world about it. And we can't tell the world unless we know the time. And God has given us that time. That is why, if you read 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, and I go to this again and again, because I'm hoping that everyone in the churches will read this very carefully. And one thing you don't want to do when you read the Bible, don't ever fudge. Don't ever try to make us say something that pleases what you already know. You must approach the Bible, and every one of us should do that. I don't know anything, Lord, you teach me. But when we go to 1 Thessalonians 5, we find it talks about two kinds of people in the opening verses. It talks about those for whom they believe Christ is coming as a thief in the night, which they had learned throughout the church age. And yet they are not worried about it because they are at peace with God and safely in His care. And so they don't mind, they don't worry about whether it's going to be tonight or next year or 10 years later or 100 years later. They are ready. But at the same time, God talks about in verse 3, for when they shall say, but in verse 4, but ye brethren are not in the darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief. Ye are all the children of light and the children of the day, and are not of the night nor of the darkness. Now, who are these? Who are these? Existing at the same time when all kinds of people who are convinced they're saved are convinced that we can't know any more than what God has taught consistently through Matthew and Mark and other passages, that He's coming as a thief in the night. And now, who are these others that do know? But it's talking about these who do know, and they are children of the light. And that is, they can know because they have been watching, they've been searching the Bible very carefully, and because we live in this day when it's God's program to open up those things that had been given to Daniel and had been hid in the Bible, and now we understand them. God has opened our spiritual eyes. We're not better than anybody else, but God in His good pleasure has opened our spiritual eyes, and so we do know the day. So you have to reckon with these passages. You just can't overlook them. You just can't look at them carelessly or say, well, this means this or it means that. The fact is, the Bible is very plain. It's talking here about two kinds of people. Those who are in spiritual darkness, and they are insisting Christ is coming as a thief in the night, just as is taught in all the churches. And yet they are convinced that they're ready to meet Christ whenever it happens. But on the other hand, there are other people who are not in darkness who do know. And so who are these people? And they are the ones who have been watching, who have been very carefully studying the Bible, recognizing that we're living in a day when God is revealing a whole lot of truth that we have not known before. And thank you for calling and sharing. Now, I go back to these verses in 1 Thessalonians 5 again and again and again, almost ad nauseum, so that you say, man, camping, can't you get off that subject? But you know, these verses are tremendous in a warning to those in the churches. Don't forget this. This is in the Bible. This language here is given by God. It is from the mouth of God. And therefore, it is super important, and it's backed up by verses like Revelation 3, verse 3, and others. But it is, as we teach the Bible, and we know we have friends, and we have loved ones, and we know of all kinds of wonderful people who are in the churches, and you just feel so sad for them. Oh my, if only God would open their eyes. Well, God opens our eyes through the Word of God. And so if you discover you're believing Christ is coming as a thief in the night, and then you recognize, hey, we should know more about the timing, you can still cry to God for mercy. Oh, God, have mercy. I've been going in the wrong direction. Please open my eyes that I could be also one of those that will be caught up when the end comes. Because the Bible also teaches that salvation is definitely coming along in our day outside of the churches where they are insisting, no, Christ is coming as a thief in the night.